This is the UK's biggest Asian mix. This is Sunrise.
Sunrise Radio.
10:20 on a Friday morning. Up Sunrise. Shabnam Sahi ke saath. My guest on the show today, the lovely Sethi Rajdev from the Sethi Partnership. She's also a member of the Law Society's Advanced Family Law Panel. I caught up with her earlier.
Love Sunrise. Like us at facebook.com/This is Sunrise Radio.
You're on Sunrise Radio with me, Shabnam Sahi. It gives me great pleasure to say a big warm welcome to Sethi Rajdev from the Sethi Partnership. Sethi, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Shabnam, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, before we actually talk about our specialist subject today, as it were, tell us a little bit more about the partnership, please. What is the Sethi Partnership all about, and how do people get in touch with the Sethi Partnership?
So we were set up in 1994 by our senior partner, Sethi. So we've been providing legal services for over 26 years now, so, many years. We're an award-winning firm based in a beautiful listed building in East Coast, Ruislip.
Mm-hmm.
We are a Legal 500 firm and are Lexcel accredited. And what that means is that we're recognised for legal excellence, and we offer specialist advice in a lot of different areas, which include conveyancing, immigration, family law, civil litigation, employment law, contract disputes, wills, probate, driving offences. So really most of the areas that your listeners would perhaps need help with.
Now, Sethi, I've been having many conversations with your colleagues at the Sethi Partnership. Today, we want to talk about family and divorce laws. Now, these are challenging times for all relationships, and even the strongest relationships being put under tremendous strain. Has COVID-19 impacted your specialist area, and if so, in what way?
Yes, it has been a very challenging time for many relationships, and COVID has had a huge impact. But as family lawyers, we're used to a large surge in new cases in January. So that's usually because couples have spent a lot of time together over Christmas. And since lockdown, we've had a new surge in new cases with an increase of about 40% compared to what we would usually expect over the same period. So with the COVID lockdown, couples have been living together 24/7 with nowhere else to go. And this has been a positive experience for some and given them time together that they wouldn't normally have because they're leading busy lives, going to work, doing the school run, and time together has brought them closer together. But for many more, being forced together in what I'd call a pressure cooker environment with added worries about finances, job security, challenges of homeschooling, uncertainty about the future, and of course worries about the virus have driven them apart. And you may have heard in the news there's unfortunately also been a huge spike in domestic violence cases. I don't think, however, that any couple will split purely as a result of the coronavirus alone. But where couples have had underlying problems before lockdown, these, I think, have bubbled to the surface and snowballed with the added stress and worries. The problems really that were there before have really intensified.
What advice would you give our listeners who may or may not be going through a divorce right now or thinking about a separation or a divorce? Because these can be very sensitive things. They're always emotional. They can be very challenging, difficult for any couple who's contemplating either a separation or a divorce. What would you say to them right now?
So before I go on to that, I'll just tell you a bit about myself, and then I'll go on to answering that question, if I may. So I qualified as a solicitor in 1991, joined the Sethi Partnership in 1996, so just a couple of years after it was set up. I became a partner in 1998, and I specialise purely in family law and divorce. It covers separation, divorce, division of assets, children's matters, injunctions, prenuptial agreements, postnuptial agreements, etc. I do have several top tips for your listeners, and what I'd say firstly is don't do anything in haste. Divorce is a big step. If you had a strong relationship before and think the problems in your relationship are purely pandemic stress, wait until you feel less stressed and less anxious before taking this step. Secondly, consider going to a marriage counsellor if you think there's any chance in resolving your problem. Thirdly, your listeners may want to know that the divorce law is due to change next year to what's called a no-fault-based system. So currently, you need to show some fault or have been separated for 2 years or more to divorce. So if couples don't want to blame their spouse and want a more amicable split, this will become more possible when the change kicks in next year. Fourthly, if you're suffering from domestic violence or in an abusive relationship or experiencing coercive control, you can get immediate help. The courts are able to deal with emergency applications for protection through telephone and video hearing. And finally, if you do want to go ahead with a separation or divorce, or maybe you just want advice on your options or advice on rights, get some legal advice at an early stage, but please make sure it's from a family law specialist. So what I'd say in summary is the courts are running. There may be delays on non-urgent things, but you can still start the process if you want to. And like most firms, at the Sethi Partnership, we've continued to work as normal even during full lockdown, and we offer telephone consultations. So all a client needs to do is to have access to a telephone and some privacy. We also have an outdoor office where we can see clients if they prefer to be seen in person. So, if your listeners have got any concerns or queries that they want to talk through, we're here. But, don't do anything in haste, and take professional advice.
I'm in conversation with Sethi Rajdev of the Sethi Partnership. Sethi, talk us through your numbers and your website one more time, please, for anyone who needs your help, your professional help. Sure.
So the contact number is 0208 866 6464. That's 0208 866 6464. We also have a website which has a lot of information about in the various service departments that we have. And the website is www.sethi.co.uk, and Sethi is Sethi. Fantastic.
Sethi, thank you so much for your time.
That's my pleasure.
That was Sethi Rajdev from the Sethi Partnership, who also happens to be an esteemed member of the Law Society's Advanced Family Law Panel.